Oh yes, we've got a special one today. We're going to be talking about the top 20 sellers on COMC.com from last week. Don't miss it. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. We have made it to the end of the week. How is everybody doing? It is another sports card video. If you're looking for daily content, you have come to the right place. Sports cards, collectibles, that's what you're here for. The family, the friends that don't collect the stuff, they don't care. They don't want to hear about it, Gregory. Come here and hang out with us. Make sure to hit the big red button down below the subscribe button. Also, please tap on the like button or karate chop it, if you will. Also, don't forget to connect with me on IG, where I put up a bunch of goofy reels about pickups and cards and all sorts of stuff, but it's fun. My kids make fun of me, but hey, that's all right. I'm also on Twitter as well, the Sports Card Dad. All right, for those that don't know, COMC.com has more than 29 million cards on their platform, in their vault. They are the mega vault. Thank you very much for the team over there providing this data, because it really breaks down the top sellers. When you think about 29 million cards, very difficult to figure out what's transacting. What should I be listing? What should I be selling? What should I be buying? What should I be looking at? Well, this kind of gives a glimpse as to what has been selling. And we're looking at it in terms of volume. So number of sales, not dollar amount. And the reason why we chose to do it that way is because we don't want, a huge sale to skew those numbers, where a Tom Brady card sells for $20,000 and he's number one on the list for top sellers because of one card. No, we're looking at the number of cards sold. So volume of transactions, and that's what we're going off of here. All right, we are going to start with football. It is football season. We've got the top 5. Number 1, Dan Marino. Number 2, Tom Brady. Number 3, Trey Lance. 4, Tua. 5, Barry Sanders. Okay, is Flippin' Steve spending all of his money on the COMC.com site? Dan Marino, shockingly, is number 1 in terms of volume of sales. Tom Brady, not as shocking there. Trey Lance and Tua, man. You talk about two young QBs. Exciting, but really, Tua hasn't done a whole lot to show that he's really the guy. But he, in my opinion, outside of Michael Thomas, I'm a Homer Saints fan, so outside of Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill is the best receiver in all of football. He now resides in Miami. There is all sorts of buzz around the Dolphins just for that reason alone. And I think that there is just so much expectations on Tua. So a lot of people are selling out, but that also means people are buying. There's just a lot of transactions for Tua. Trey Lance, another guy. The 49ers have a pretty good, well-rounded team, and I think just there's a lot of positivity coming out of San Francisco about Trey Lance and just excitement around a young QB. So there, again, a lot of transactions. Fairly typical, though, of it being, preseason. We're getting up to the season. People are getting excited. They're seeing preseason games, training camp alerts where guys are throwing 50-yard passes, fourth-string receivers, but it doesn't matter. It's all amazing. All of our teams are going to win. In reality, it's the New Orleans Saints that are going to come out on top this year. But anyway, everyone's excited. All the parity in the NFL, any given Sunday, all of that stuff. And then number 5, Barry Sanders, to me, the best running back in all of football. This is really no surprise that Barry is in that top 5, but good to see him there, because man, is he deserving. I did meet him at the National going back, a month now, and he is just an amazing dude. So shout out to Barry Sanders rounding out the top 5 for football. All right, baseball time. You guys know I'm not a big baseball guy, but I'm still going to run through the list and do my best. Number 1, Aaron Judge, Yankees, having a little bit of a slump from what I hear, a little bit of a slump, but Aaron Judge kind of doing some things. So a lot of transactions around Aaron Judge. Ken Griffey Jr., number 2. Again, not a huge shock, but I guess a little bit, just in the sense that, he's from my era. The 89 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr., that rookie card is it's iconic. It is an extremely iconic baseball card. Very common card, obviously. But, I have seen a lot of people that have been buying inserts for Griffey and autos for Griffey. So I can see why he's popular, of course. Shohei Ohtani, today's Babe Ruth. He can throw, he can hit. He can do all the things. So he plays on a team, again, with Mike Trout, the two major superstars that just don't play on a very good baseball team. But people love to buy and sell Shohei Ohtani, obviously, for Mike Trout. Is the back injury going to be a thing? Is his career sliding down? Can he recover from it, come back from it? There's so much speculation about him right now. And a lot of, I would say it's more negative than positive from what I see. It's kind of like, he's never going to be the same guy again. I don't see a lot of bullish people on Mike Trout. So maybe that explains a lot of transactions there. And then, of course, the last one here, Fernando Tatis Jr., again, just got busted for PEDs. He's been suspended. A lot of the motorcycle accident, the PEDs, and the guy's such a great young talent. It's just a shame, to see him kind of slide down with him being a young guy. He's 22 or 23 years old. So who knows? Maybe he bounces back and maybe he has just an amazing career, but he's kind of like strike two. You really got to pull it together now, and signed a huge contract, hoping for the best for Tatis. Hopefully he comes back and just does really good stuff. Next up, basketball cards. Now, what we're doing here for basketball is a little bit different. Only active players on the basketball list. Why? Why would you say that? Well, because Michael Jordan is number one every single week. So actually, good to know for you all. On COMC.com, Michael Jordan is the number one basketball seller every single week. So that's why we decided, instead of just having it be MJ every single week on this show, we're just going to do active players. And so, number one, LeBron James. I would say his market has been kind of quiet, kind of sliding down a little bit just because the Lakers, they didn't even make the playoffs. So really going back, months, there really hasn't been any amazing news on LeBron. So a little bit of a slump for his stuff. People still transacting his cards though. He is number one on the list for basketball. Recent NBA champion and number 4 for Steph Curry. He sits at number 2, the greatest shooter of all time. Not really a shock that he's number 2. Number 3, Zion Williamson. Interesting, right? A huge hype guy coming out of Duke. Of course, had the shoe game. I live here in the Raleigh area, so I remember all the buzz. Barack Obama was at that game. I mean, that was a massive game. His shoe broke. He went down injured. And I feel like ever since that point, we've just been talking about one injury after another. The guy plays with so much torque, just his size, his speed, everything. Amazing player. Just can he stay on the court? That's really the big thing. He looks great right now. They've been showing off-season stuff with him. He looks like he's in great shape, but we've been down this road before. I mean, he's really got to put in, a full season, or if they're going to limit him and put him on a snap count or whatever you want to call that, maybe he plays 70 games a year, 60 games a year. I don't really know. But the hope is that this guy can play, because the New Orleans Pelicans, really a bright young team. They've got a lot of good things going with CJ McCollum joining that team. I mean, they've got some good pieces in place. Having Zion really could kind of give them a boost in the West. Number 4, Ant-Man. This one kind of surprised me a little bit. Anthony Edwards at number 4 with the T-Wolves. Obviously, a very exciting young player. We've got another season coming up, and really the T-Wolves were a team that were pretty electric. They're just a young team that really couldn't finish in the playoffs, but man, they're got some solid young players on that team, and it'll be fun to watch. I mean, the NBA, again, the talent gap is closing. It's similar to the NFL, where it's just like every team's got a shot, it feels like, outside of maybe 5 to 7 teams in the NFL. The NBA is kind of really getting there too. You might have, 5 to 7 teams that never have a chance, but you have 20 teams that are in the hunt at any given time. And I know a lot of people say like, NBA doesn't have as much parity, but I feel like it's closing though. It's getting there. And then number 5, not really much of a shock, Luka Doncic, really one of the best young players in the game. He is exciting. Will he ever win anything with this Mavericks team? That's really kind of the big question. Can he get an MVP? Can he get a title? It wouldn't really be tough to see him getting an MVP, but winning a title is going to be just a huge hurdle based on, again, there's just a lot of talent in the league, and he just doesn't have enough pieces, or it doesn't feel like it. But you know what? The Mavs were a good team last year. They made a run in the playoffs, and he's so young, So I think that's going to be the story with Luka. Is he always going to be that guy that just can't? He's close, but he just doesn't have enough help, or will eventually, whether it be with the Mavs or another team, does he get over the hump there and win a title? I just think that eventually, there's not a Steph Curry in the league. There's not a LeBron James in the league. There's not a lot of these guys that have really been dominant for a long time. And then when the young guys are kind of left, Luka's probably at the top of that pack, along with a couple of other guys as far as the young players go. I think he gets a ring at some point in his career, but he rounds out the top 5. This was fun too because COMC was able to give me data on non-sports. Non-sports, of course, is becoming a big deal. Non-sports cards are becoming very, very popular. Culture cards, you hear it talked about all the time. And we've got a top 5 here. Number 1, not a shock here, Spider-Man. Spider-Man's 1 and Wolverine is 2. And really, Marvel cards have become very popular over the last couple of years. There's been collectors. It's been a niche market. But even for myself, I've got, I would say a small there's a few sets that I really target with Marvel that I like to collect, but it's really come on. Comic books, obviously not a new thing. Graded comic books is a huge, huge business. And so it's nice to see Marvel cards kind of get some of that love. Spider-Man, Wolverine just dominate that space. Just very, very popular characters. And they've really got some cool cards out there. So they are 1 and 2. I guess there's cryptocurrency cards sitting at 3. I would not have guessed this. I don't know even what this is. I'm actually, after this video, going to go and check and see what the heck cryptocurrency cards are because I thought that was interesting. Number 4, Daenerys Targaryen. I'm probably saying the name wrong, but it's Game of Thrones stuff, and it probably has to do with the fact that we've got a new show coming out. Jon Snow rounds it out at number 5. So we've got Game of Thrones show starting up here soon. Is it on HBO Max, I think, or the Peacock, or one of those? Anyway, it'll be interesting, though. It's going back before kind of all the Game of Thrones storyline. It predates it. So again, kind of similar to the new Lord of the Rings show that's going to predate, talk about Sauron, origins, and stuff like that. We've got the same thing going on with Game of Thrones, and you're seeing some movement, some transactions for those cards. So very interesting week. Again, the top 20 sellers on COMC.com out of 29 million cards sitting in the OG vault, the mega vault, COMC.com. Definitely check them out. I will be here every Friday with this particular show. This will be a set show every Friday. I'm excited to bring it to you. Guys, thank you very much. Again, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.